Number 5. The Cavern of Lost Souls. A tiny village in Wales kept a dirty secret for years. A group of urban explorers were exploring a site near Machynlleth, Wales, called the Cavern of Lost Souls, when they made a fascinating but terrifying discovery. About 100 rusted cars piled on top of each other were visible thanks to the sunlight barely creeping into the cavern. The site where the explorers spotted the cars was actually once a slate mine that opened around 1812 and closed in the 1960s. Not only were there cars, but refrigerators, televisions, and other junk were all left there. Some of the locals admitted that the site was an illegal dumping area. Apparently, one of the cars had tags on it that were about 50 years old. The Cavern of Lost Souls is often described as a deeply flooded mine, and it's not easy to access. Explorers have to rappel almost 5 stories to get to a tight tunnel that goes 20 feet down to the cavern floor. Once they're down there, they're in a place where the only source of light enters from the top of the cavern. It's truly a sight to behold. One man who explored the area said, "Once your eyes adjust to the sudden beam of light, you realize the sheer scale of the place. There are hundreds of cars on top of each other." Sadly, other urban explorers have entered the Cavern of Lost Souls and damaged the area by knocking things over and drawing graffiti on the cavern's walls. Number 4. The Google Earth Incident. Google Earth is an incredibly useful tool. You can check out a town or a faraway country without ever leaving home. That's what Brian Martin, a Wellington, Florida resident, was doing in the summer of 2019. Martin was just being curious on Google Earth, checking out his old neighborhood, when he discovered something strange. A white object caught his eye in the pond behind the home he was looking at. Upon further review, Martin realized it was a car. Martin called his ex-wife, who still lived in the house. She was able to get in touch with her neighbor for help. The neighbor then used a drone to get a better look at the pond and also spotted the car. With that, the police were called to the scene. They removed the car and were shocked by what was inside. They discovered human remains. The car's details revealed that it belonged to William Earl Moult. Moult was a 40-year-old mortgage broker that was basically a loner who rarely drank. He went missing on November 7, 1997 in Wellington. He'd gone out to a local club but never came back home. His disappearance stumped law enforcement for years. Eventually, his family and friends accepted the fact that he was gone. Many questions still remain, though, even with the discovery of his remains. It's uncertain how and why Moult perished. One theory is that Moult could have lost control of his car on the road near the pond and crashed. Those who saw Moult the night he went missing said they believed that he wasn't drunk. It's even more baffling that no one in the neighborhood heard anything the night he crashed his car. The strangest part of the mystery is that the Google Earth image was taken back in 2007, and for over 10 years no one saw Moult's car in the pond. If it wasn't for the curiosity of Brian Martin, Moult's car and remains may have never been discovered. Have you ever discovered something weird on Google Earth? Let us know in the comments down below, and subscribe if you're enjoying the video so far. Number 3. The Yuba County 5. It was Friday, February 24th, 1978, when 5 men left Yuba County, California to go and see a college basketball game in Chico, California. Ted Weiher, Jack Madruga, Bill Sterling, Jackie Hewitt, and Gary Mathias were 5 friends that played for an adult Special Olympics team. They were huge fans of UC Davis, and they had an away game that night at Chico State University. The men had an important Special Olympics basketball tournament the next day, so going to the UC Davis game served as a bit of motivation. 4 of the men had intellectual disabilities, while Mathias had been diagnosed with schizophrenia. It's important to note that Mathias had been doing pretty well on a medication regimen for his schizophrenia. Also, the group had made several successful trips out of town together in the past before this incident. After the game, they left Chico State and stopped by a local convenience store to grab some snacks. Jack Madruga drove the 5 in his 1969 Mercury Montego. They were supposed to take a state highway directly home, and Madruga was known for being a very reliable and responsible driver. Also, the 5 men were told to inform their families if they were running late or if any plans had changed. But something strange happened on February 24, 1978. The men never returned home. Their parents spent the night of February 24th and the early hours of the 25th worrying about their sons. One of the parents reported them missing to the authorities the next day. 4 days after they disappeared, the 1969 Montego was spotted in an abandoned snow-covered road in the Plumas National Forest. The car was 70 miles in the wrong direction in a forest in the Sierra Nevada mountains. Also, the car was on a remote road that led nowhere. The Montego appeared to have gotten stuck in the snow, but the men could have pushed the car out if they tried. Also, temperatures were freezing in the Plumas that night. None of the men were wearing proper clothing for the environment since they lived in the much warmer Yuba County area. Those investigating the scene didn't know if the men vanished into the Plumas or if someone had driven the car and abandoned the vehicle. A massive manhunt was immediately launched, and 4 of the 5's remains were later discovered in June of 1978. Ted Weher's remains were in a U.S. Forest Service trailer that was about 12 miles from where the Mercury Montego was left. The trailer was stocked with military C-ration cans, and about 30 cans had been opened. A candle had also been lit at one time, but no one ever turned on the gas to heat the trailer. The remains of Jack Madruga, Bill Sterling, and Jackie Hewitt were near the trailer. Law enforcement and the families were amazed the men had walked so far from the car. Sadly, they walked 12 miles up the road instead of 12 miles down to safety. Law enforcement to this day has no idea why the 5 took a drive into the Plumas National Forest. Jack Madruga was not known to make spontaneous journeys, and the men really needed their rest for the upcoming basketball tournament. Some family members and people who have researched the disappearance believe something sinister happened that night. It's rumored that the 5 were somehow brought to the Plumas National Forest against their will, or tricked to go to the spot they vanished. These are all just theories, though. Even more strange is the fact that a man claimed to see the men on the abandoned road. The witness, Joseph Shawns, was also stuck near where the Montego was abandoned. Shawns claimed that he saw another car following the men on the road where they left the car. What was Shawns doing at that location? His stories vary, but he claimed he wanted to check the snow line in the Plumas where his car got caught in the snow. He tried pushing it out, but reportedly suffered a small heart attack. He ended up having to make an agonizing 8-mile walk to an inn or tavern for help, but he made no mention of the men who vanished that night. Sadly, the remains of Gary Mathias were never located, and it's believed he died with the others in the Plumas National Forest. The Yuba County 5 mystery has baffled authorities for over 45 years. Number 2. The 1994 MIT hack. Students at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, or MIT, are well known for their epic hacks. These hacks are actually just pranks that are deemed next level since they're not just creative but complex. One hack that stands out is from 1994, when a police car was left in an unusual spot. On the morning of May 9, 1994, a campus police car was discovered on top of the Great Dome, which is located at Building 10 on campus. The car was admired by many as it had police lights still flashing. People were in awe and shocked. Exactly how did a 3,000-pound car get on top of the dome? How did this happen without anyone noticing? When the police car was examined, it was nothing more than parts for a Chevy Cavalier attached to a wooden frame. A dummy was even discovered inside the car dressed up like a police officer. The prank was eventually taken down but remained legendary. Other MIT students have pulled off similar hacks. In 2009, students placed a replica of the Apollo lunar module on top of the dome to celebrate the 40th anniversary of the moon landing. In 2006, a hack saw an MIT campus fire truck put on the dome just like the 1994 police car. And at number 1, the Death Valley tourists. It was October of 1996 when a park ranger was flying in a helicopter over California's Death Valley National Park. They were looking for illegal drug activity and spotted a 1996 green Plymouth Voyager minivan. The park ranger landed their helicopter and were able to get a good look at the van. They quickly discovered that it was a rental. It was covered with dust and it looked like it had been stuck in the sand. The park ranger then reached out to law enforcement. What they uncovered involved a family from Germany on vacation in California. They'd rented the van a few months earlier and never returned the car. The visitors also never returned to Germany. Where were they? What happened? It was a complete mystery that the authorities were stumped by. The missing individuals were Egbert Rimkus, age 34, and his 10-year-old son, George Weber. Joining Rimkus was his 27-year-old girlfriend, Cornelia Meyer, and her 4-year-old son, Max Meyer. They were originally from Dresden, Germany, and had landed in the United States on July 8th. That happened to be the same day they rented their van at LAX, the Los Angeles airport. Rimkus, Meyer, and the kids then drove to Las Vegas, and on July 22, 1996, they left Vegas and made their way to the Death Valley National Park. Death Valley just so happens to be the spot where the hottest temperature on Earth was measured. On July 10, 1913, the high reached 134 degrees Fahrenheit. When Rimkus and Meyer arrived with the children, the temperatures in the area had already reached between 115 to 120 degrees Fahrenheit. From Death Valley, the plan was to travel up to Yosemite National Park. Rimkus, Meyer, and the kids stopped by a visitor center at Death Valley to pick up an information booklet. They were camping in the park and made some plans to visit an area called Mengel Pass, which is a long dirt trail. They signed a guest booklet near the abandoned mine at the park, and it noted that they were heading over the pass, which was probably referring to Mengel Pass. They also signed their names Connie, Egbert, George, and Max. This may have been the last place they stopped while visiting the area. When the van they were renting was discovered in October of 1996, park employees noticed that the tires were shredded while one tire was completely off the rim. It's believed that they tried driving the van for a certain distance before it was completely useless with the damaged tires. It was not the right vehicle to bring to that area with all of the rugged terrain and potholes. A car with four-wheel drive would have been the better choice. A beer bottle believed to be Rimkus or Meyer's was found about a quarter mile away from the van. Inside were empty water bottles and sleeping bags. Also in the van was an American flag. It had been taken from the Butte Valley Stone Cabin. It's a shelter that holds food and water. Rimkus, Meyer, and the kids had to have been there at some point. Alcohol and children's toys were still in the vehicle. There was even a spare tire and a jack in the van. Park employees were confused. What was really odd was that nothing was found in the van like a passport or ID, although they did find a credit card. Even the keys to the van were gone. A search for the missing German tourists was launched. Helicopters, horses, and a group of searchers looked for the missing people, but they found nothing after countless hours of searching. All they had was the van. 13 years went by with no good leads. Some theories were tossed out. Some thought the van was a staged scene by Rimkus and Meyer so they could start new lives in the United States or South America. Another theory is that they somehow found illegal drug activity and were taken out, since they were witnesses and saw too much. It was 2009 when skeletal remains were finally spotted by hikers. A member of law enforcement told the press, "At this point, it's being handled like a criminal investigation, but there is no evidence of foul play at this point." Meyer's passport and a bank ID was also found at the scene. Also discovered was a wine bottle and a journal written in German. What happened to Rimkus, Meyer, and the kids is still a mystery. Perhaps they underestimated the remoteness of the region. It would have been a good idea for Rimkus and Meyer to let someone know where they were heading. The mystery of the German tourists still haunts Death Valley to this day. Number 10. The Catacombs of Paris. Beneath the bustling streets of Paris lies a world that echoes with the whispers of history and the weight of human mortality, the Catacombs of Paris. These tunnels, initially created as quarries to extract limestone, have become the final resting place for the remains of millions of individuals. The catacombs offer a haunting glimpse into the past, with a chilling atmosphere that both captivates and unsettles those who venture below. The catacombs hold a unique allure. drawing visitors into a subterranean realm where bones and skulls are carefully arranged in somber patterns. The catacombs were established in the late 18th century to alleviate the overcrowded cemeteries of Paris. Then the bones of the dead were meticulously moved to these underground chambers. Walking through these dimly lit passages, one is surrounded by a strangely artistic arrangement of skeletal remains. Apart from its historical significance, the catacombs have also gained a reputation for the eerie experiences reported by visitors. Many have described encountering an inexplicable sense of unease or the feeling of being watched, even in the areas where bones aren't prominently displayed. These feelings are intensified by the knowledge that the catacombs stretch for miles, creating an otherworldly maze beneath the city's surface. The catacombs of Paris serve as a haunting reminder of the passage of time and the inevitable nature of mortality. Their intricate corridors house not only the remains of countless individuals, but also an atmosphere that evokes both reverence and unease. As visitors traverse the dimly lit tunnels, they're confronted with the intricate stories of those who came before, as well as their own contemplations of life, death, and the enduring echoes of history. Number 9. The abandoned city of Pryyat, Ukraine. Pryyat, Ukraine stands as a haunting testament to the devastating aftermath of the Chernobyl nuclear power plant disaster in 1986. Once a thriving city of workers and families, Pryyat was abruptly abandoned due to the catastrophic explosion of reactor number 4. The city's eerie remains offer a chilling glimpse into a frozen moment in time, with decaying buildings, personal belongings, and haunting silence permeating the air. Exploring the desolate streets of Pryyat unveils a surreal scene where time seems to have stood still. Empty schools, abandoned playgrounds, and decaying apartment buildings all bear witness to the sudden evacuation forced by the invisible threat of radiation. Personal artifacts, from dolls and bicycles to scattered books, convey the sense of lives disrupted and abruptly abandoned. Yet the most haunting aspect of Pryyat remains the lingering radiation. While some areas are relatively safe for brief visits, others remain highly contaminated and dangerous. Geiger counters ticking with unsettling persistence serve as a grim reminder of the invisible danger that still penetrates the atmosphere. The city's stark beauty and eerie ambiance have attracted dark tourism, drawing visitors who seek to witness the peculiar blend of nature reclaiming urban spaces and the haunting memory of human tragedy. Today, the city stands as a chilling testament to the irreversible impact of the Chernobyl disaster. Its decaying buildings, personal belongings frozen in time, and the lingering specter of radiation offer a haunting and sober reflection of the consequences of nuclear catastrophe. Number 8. The Hanging Coffins of Sagada, the Philippines. The Hanging Coffins of Sagada, nestled in the Philippines' remote mountainous region, are a striking testament to an ancient burial practice that defies both gravity and time. This unique custom involves suspending coffins from the side of cliffs, creating a breathtaking yet eerie sight that holds profound and cultural spiritual significance. The burial tradition of hanging coffins dates back over 2,000 years and is practiced by the Igorot people of Sagada. Instead of being interred in the ground, the deceased are placed in intricately carved wooden coffins and secured to the cliffs. This practice symbolizes a connection between the living and the afterlife, as well as a desire to bring the deceased closer to the heavens. The Igorot people hold the belief that elevating the deceased prevents animals from disturbing the remains and keeps them safe from floods or other natural disasters. It's also believed that placing the dead in a high place allows their spirits to transcend to a higher plane more easily. The sight of these suspended coffins carries a haunting beauty, juxtaposing the tranquility of the mountains with the weight of mortality. Visitors who trek to witness this awe-inspiring spectacle often gain insight into the Igorot people's profound connection with nature, the cosmos, and the cycle of life and death. Number 7. Poviglia Island, Italy. Poviglia Island is located in Italy's Venetian lagoon. It might look calm and peaceful, but it actually has an extremely sad and creepy history. Loads of bad things have happened here, which is why people think it's a spooky place. The island's history dates back to ancient times, but it gained notoriety during the bubonic plague outbreaks in the 14th century. Poviglia became a dumping ground for the plague-stricken, a quarantine zone where the infected were left to die in isolation. The soil of the island is said to be composed largely of the remains of those who perished during these harrowing times. Adding to the island's grim history, in the 20th century, Poviglia was repurposed as a mental asylum. Disturbing stories of patient mistreatment and experiments further contribute to its ominous aura. The asylum closed in the late 1960s, leaving the island abandoned and shrouded in an eerie silence. Allegations of paranormal activity have swirled around Poviglia for decades. Visitors and paranormal enthusiasts claim to have witnessed unexplainable phenomena, including ghostly apparitions, unsettling whispers, and sudden temperature drops. Many believe the souls of those who suffered and died on the island continue to linger, adding to its reputation as one of the most haunted places in the world. Number 6. The Aoki Gajara Forest, Japan. The Aoki Gajara Forest, situated at the base of the iconic Mount Fuji in Japan, holds an eerie reputation that's earned it the unsettling nickname of the Suicide Forest. This dense expanse of woodland has become synonymous with a haunting aura, drawing curious visitors and researchers from around the world. The forest's sinister reputation largely stems from the high number of self-inflicted deaths that have occurred within its depths, creating an atmosphere steeped in tragedy and sorrow. Cultural beliefs and stories have contributed significantly to the forest's haunting image. In Japanese folklore, forests have long been associated with spirits and supernatural phenomena. Aoki Gajara, with its dense growth, muted sounds, and the feeling of isolation it imparts, is believed to be a realm where the living and the dead intertwine. This belief is further fueled by the forest's association with Ouary, vengeful spirits from Japanese mythology, who are said to wander among the trees. The stories of these spirits are part of what lends the forest its chilling ambiance. Aoki Gajara's notoriety also stems from literature, movies, and media coverage that have portrayed the forest as a place of despair and introspection. The media attention has only reinforced its mystique, drawing both those seeking adventure and those fascinated by the morbid nature of the forest. Efforts have been made to address the forest's grim reputation. Signposts promoting hope and offering helpline numbers have been placed along the paths, encouraging those who may be struggling to seek help. Additionally, volunteers regularly comb the forest for signs of distress, aiming to prevent self-inflicted deaths and provide support for those in need. Its haunting aura serves as a reminder of the delicate balance between the beauty and darkness that can exist side by side in the natural world. Do you believe Japan's Aoki Gajara Forest is haunted by the souls of the dead? Let us know in the comments, and while you're at it, subscribe. Now, on to number 5, the Sedle Ossuary, Czech Republic. The Sedle Ossuary, located in the quaint town of Kutna Hora in the Czech Republic, stands as a chilling yet strangely captivating testament to the artistic and spiritual possibilities of human bones. This unique chapel, also known as the Bone Church, is renowned for its eerie adornment. The intricate arrangement of thousands of human bones into elaborate chandeliers, pyramids, and other ornate decorations. The history of the Sedle Ossuary dates back to the 13th century, when the abbot of the Sedle Monastery returned from a pilgrimage to Jerusalem with soil from Golgotha. This holy soil was spread across the abbey cemetery, leading to an influx of burials. But over time, the cemetery became overcrowded, and the bones were exhumed and stored in the chapel's crypt. Then, in 1870, a half-blind woodcarver named František Rent was given the task of arranging the bones. What emerged was a macabre masterpiece, a striking display of creativity and reverence. Skulls and bones were carefully arranged to form chandeliers, a chalice, a coat of arms, and even a Schwarzenberg family crest. The result is a captivating visual paradox, a blend of beauty and eeriness that draws visitors from around the world. The symbolism behind the ossuary's design is layered and thought-provoking. On one level, it serves as a stark reminder of the impermanence of life and the inevitability of death, urging visitors to contemplate their own mortality. But on another level, the ossuary stands as a testament to the idea of transformation and renewal. The bones of the departed have been transformed into something ornate and beautiful, reflecting the cycle of life, death, and rebirth. And number 4, the Door to Hell, Turkmenistan. The Door to Hell, a colossal and seemingly otherworldly phenomenon located in the heart of Turkmenistan's Karakum Desert, is a sight that defies both logic and imagination. This immense natural gas crater, burning incessantly for decades, stands as a surreal spectacle that's captured the fascination of adventurers and researchers alike. The origin of the Door to Hell's fiery existence can be traced back to a drilling mishap that occurred in 1971. Soviet geologists were conducting exploratory drilling in search of oil and natural gas when they accidentally tapped into a massive underground cavern filled with the gas. The ground beneath the drilling rig collapsed, creating a crater that was approximately 230 feet in diameter. Fearing the release of poisonous gases, the decision was made to ignite the gas in the hopes that it would burn off within a matter of days. However, this fire has been burning relentlessly ever since, transforming the site into a mesmerizing inferno. Often described as an entrance to the underworld, the Door to Hell's fiery chasm exudes a hypnotic allure. The sight of flames licking at the edge of the crater against the dark desert backdrop creates an otherworldly atmosphere. The vibrant flames dance with an intensity that contrasts with the vast emptiness of the desert, giving rise to an unsettling feeling of standing at the precipice of something supernatural. The burning crater is an enigmatic marvel, defying conventional explanations, and it offers a mesmerizing display of nature's raw power. Its origin story, the continuous burning of natural gas, and its uncanny resemblance to a portal into the underworld all contribute to its status as one of the planet's most intriguing and surreal natural wonders. Number 3, the Island of Dolls in Mexico. The Island of Dolls, situated within the waterways of Xochimilco near Mexico City, is a haunting tableau like any other. Adorned with an uncanny collection of countless dolls and doll parts, this destination is both a tribute to a tragic story and a testament to human fascination with death. The creepy allure of the island lies in its origin, rooted in a tragic event that occurred decades ago. The island's caretaker, John Julian Santana, discovered the body of a young girl who drowned near the island's shores. Tormented by her death, he began collecting discarded dolls from canals and trash heaps, believing that they'd protect the island from evil spirits and honor the spirit of the girl. Santana's tribute soon evolved into a compulsion, and he dedicated his life to covering the island's trees, paths, and structures with dolls of all kinds, hanging them in various states of decay. The legends surrounding the Island of Dolls are as unsettling as the site itself. It's said that the dolls come alive at night, whispering to each other and even attempting to lure visitors into the water. Locals and tourists have reported feeling an eerie presence, as if the dolls are watching them. And some even claim that their gaze follows every move. These tales have woven a chilling aura around the island, conjuring a feeling of being surrounded by both sorrow and a strange form of life. The Island of Dolls has transcended its tragic origin, becoming a magnet for those drawn to the intersection of horror and art. While the dolls themselves may evoke discomfort, they also provoke contemplation about the ways in which humans grapple with loss and the unknown. In the midst of their creepy charm, the dolls stand as a testament to the power of a single story to transform a space into something both haunting and intriguing. Number 2, the Winchester Mystery House in California. The fascinating tale of the Winchester Mystery House weaves a web of intrigue around a 160-room Victorian mansion, a testament to both the grandeur and the mysterious obsessions of its creator, Sarah L. Winchester. Born of sorrow and loss, this sprawling architectural enigma was constructed by the widow of rifle magnate William Wirt Winchester. Sarah's life was marred by tragedy with her marriage to William in 1862, followed by the untimely demise of their infant daughter and, later, her husband. Consumed by grief and an unsettling belief, she consulted a spiritualist who spun a chilling narrative. The vengeful spirits of those felled by the very rifles her family manufactured were said to haunt her. their revengeful intentions needing appeasement. The medium revealed a curse had been cast upon her, a curse only breakable by ceaselessly constructing a house for the spirits out west. So in 1884, this peculiar saga manifested in the form of an elaborate East Lake shingle Queen Anne house, boasting 160 rooms adorned with intricate Tiffany glass, gold-plated fixtures, and ahead of its time innovations. Sarah's whims took her architectural imagination to heights unbound as she experimented with diverse styles, driven by a fervent, ceaseless desire to placate unseen forces. For nearly 4 decades, the mansion's halls echoed with a continuous rhythm of construction until Sarah's passing in 1922. Her death brought a halt to the perplexing project, leaving behind an estate spread over 6 acres, a physical embodiment of her spiritual journey. A unique slice of Victorian architecture, the Winchester Mystery House remains a cryptic monument to Sarah's quest for redemption. With its doors flung open to the public, this haunting abode continues to beckon those seeking to uncover the secrets concealed within its walls. And at number 1, the Bermuda Triangle of Transylvania. From unexplained lights in the sky to reports of people entering the forest only to emerge with missing time, the Hoia Baciu Forest in Transylvania, Romania, has a long history of captivating the imagination. Its reputation as a hub for supernatural events has attracted thrill-seekers, paranormal investigators, and curious individuals seeking to unravel its mysteries. Numerous stories from visitors recount the unsettling sensations they've experienced while exploring the forest. People have reported feeling intense anxiety, nausea, and disorientation, often accompanied by inexplicable sounds or sensations of being watched. Photographs taken within the forest sometimes yield bizarre distortions, including light anomalies and glitches that defy conventional explanation. The forest's haunting aura has even led some to believe that it serves as a gateway to other dimensions. One of the most famous incidents associated with the Hoia Baciu forest is the case of a shepherd who entered the woods with his flock and never returned. When search parties combed the forest, they discovered the flock gathered in a small clearing, seemingly unattended. The shepherd was nowhere to be found, and his disappearance remains a perplexing mystery to this day. The allure of the Hoia Baciu forest lies in its ability to invoke a blend of awe, fear, and curiosity. Whether due to its twisted trees, inexplicable phenomena, or chilling reputation, this forest continues to draw those willing to venture into its depths in search of answers to the unexplainable.
10. Drinking Cobra blood. In early 2014, news headlines went wild over some photos of US Marines drinking Cobra blood that went viral on social media. The soldiers featured in the images were among more than 13,000 military members from 7 countries who participated in a jungle survival training exercise in Thailand's Chonburi province. Known as Cobra Gold 2014, the event was attended by soldiers from the United States, Singapore, Indonesia, South Korea, Japan, and Malaysia. In addition to learning how to safely catch and kill venomous cobras during the 11-day program, the participants were encouraged to drink the snake's blood, which is reportedly a local tradition. They also ate the cobra's tails, snacked on bugs and scorpions, and were taught how to kill a chicken by biting its head off. Besides teaching military members how to survive in the middle of the jungle, the course trained participants in amphibious warfare, the evacuation of friendly forces, and delivering humanitarian relief. 9. Playing hot potato with a hand grenade. In 2012, photos and videos of Chinese soldiers playing hot potato with what appeared to be a live hand grenade went viral. Captured in Hong Kong, the footage showed a group of soldiers from the People's Liberation Army standing in a circle and passing the grenade from one to the next until the final soldier threw it into a hole. They then quickly jumped down onto the ground and took cover to protect themselves from the ensuing explosion of C4, which sent a plume of dust and smoke into the air. While the soldiers very clearly used caution during the activity, it's unavoidably scary to think about. And this is reportedly just one of several slightly terrifying exercises that the PLA is known to include in its training. Promotional footage and photos that were filmed in 2014 showed soldiers leaping through rings of fire during their training. In a briefing following the release of the video, a Chinese foreign ministry spokesman took the opportunity to remind the rest of the world that the PLA is not made up of Boy Scouts with spears. The material was released on the heels of China's announcement of a $131 billion increase in military spending to improve the country's coastal and sea defenses and to invest in improved technology. At the time, regional security analyst Rory Medcalf told the New York Daily News that the bolstering of China's military was bad news for its neighbors, especially Japan. Since then, China's only continued to expand its military, giving rise to growing fears that the country is preparing to assert its dominance outside its boundaries. 8. Taking shots to the chest. To say that Russia's counter-terrorism training isn't for the weak would be an understatement. Those hoping to become agents for the country's Federal Security Service, or FSB, must be willing to take several shots to the chest to prepare them for what might happen in a shootout with terrorists. Of course, the trainees wear body armor, but things can still go wrong when bullets are flying straight in someone's direction. Footage of the exercise that went viral in 2014 showed an agent being shot from just 3 to 4 yards away. In response, the trainee is expected to fire a return shot close to the shooter's head without actually striking them. The FSB is the direct successor of the infamous KGB intelligence agency. Until 1995, it served as a training center for KGB graduates who were selected as candidates to serve in the most precarious intelligence-related situations. In addition to being shot, candidates are also required to fire at a variety of targets while facing distractions and other stress factors, including being pushed while firing and having someone empty a clip right near the trainee's head. The trainee is expected to maintain speed and precision. 7. Cold water conditioning. Navy SEALs are known for being some of the toughest soldiers on the planet. The training's nothing short of grueling, and it involves something called cold water conditioning. Also known as surf torture, it's part of a bigger regimen called Basic Underwater Demolition / SEAL, or BUDS training, which is known for being one of the most physically demanding training programs in the world. During surf torture, candidates must lie on their backs in about 6 inches of water with their arms linked, and they must remain that way for however long they're told to do so. The exercise takes place at Silver Strand Beach in San Diego, which is infamous for its chilly nighttime breezes. Instructors monitor participants using hypothermia charts and core temperature scans, while simultaneously pushing their limits. One of the toughest parts of the test comes when trainees are required to exit the water and stand facing the ocean in their wet clothes for however long their instructor tells them to. This is obviously a major physical challenge that pushes the human body to its limits, but it's also a test of mental strength and endurance. During another part of cold water conditioning known as drown proofing, participants are required to bob up and down in the water 20 times, float for 5 minutes, and swim between the deep and shallow ends of a pool with their wrists and ankles bound. They also have to retrieve a face mask from the bottom of the pool's deep end. How long do you think you would last? Tell us in the comments and hit subscribe while you're at it. 6. Winter combat training. Every winter, more than 200 military rangers from the South Korean Army's Special Warfare Command, SWC, endure 10 days of brutal combat training in the mountains of Pyeongchang, roughly 112 miles east of Seoul. The training takes place in temperatures as low as -22 degrees Fahrenheit. This ensures that soldiers are ready for live missions in the freezing cold. In addition to having to withstand freezing conditions, soldiers are required to swim in icy water and perform exercises in the snow, often while shirtless, including gymnastics, sprinting, and skiing with rifles. Winter weather training is not unique to Korea. In fact, many countries prepare their militaries for cold climate combat. Soldiers in the Chinese military undergo similar exercises while half-dressed along the country's northern border with Russia, in temperatures as low as -4 degrees Fahrenheit. They train with traditional Chinese swords, throw snow and ice-cold water at each other, and run in shin-deep snow. In recent years, the US Marines have stepped up their winter weather training in response to mounting prospects of warfare against Russia, North Korea, and China. The training takes place roughly 8,000 feet above sea level at the Marine Mountain Warfare Training Center in the Sierra Nevada mountains. The soldiers, many of whom have never experienced snow in their lives, participate in mock battles and other training in unforgiving conditions such as chest-deep snow, thin air, blizzards, and this probably goes without saying, below freezing temperatures. 5. Battle Station 21, stationed in Great Lakes, Illinois. The American missile destroyer USS Thayer has never been deployed, used in combat, or even gone to sea. The 210-foot-long Navy vessel is the staging ground for Battle Stations 21, a live immersive training simulation that prepares soldiers for disasters at sea. 38,000 recruits undergo the 12-hour overnight challenge every year. It's the final portion of the basic training that they must complete to be sailors. During the challenge, engineers simulate a sinking and all the crises that are expected to come along with a real-life disaster. The test exposes its participants to the sights, sounds, and smells that they would experience during a real emergency at sea, including fire, thick smoke, flooding, bursted pipes, alarms, broken and twisted wood and metal, debris, and even a breeze and seagulls. Lifelike mannequins representing injured sailors groan in pain and discomfort as they await rescue from crew members amid the chaos. While saving the mannequins, recruits must continue to respond efficiently to everything else that's going on around them. They're graded based on their responses to these situations. 4. Belarus Special Forces Training, nicknamed Europe's last true dictatorship. Belarus is a former Soviet state with an infamous reputation for refusing to modernize, especially when it comes to the country's heavily militaristic culture and the shocking exercises that recruits are required to endure in order to become elite Red Beret soldiers. The Belarusian Special Forces training regime entails a brutal series of tests that very few candidates pass. These exercises are designed to push participants' physical and mental abilities to their absolute limits. On average, it takes 5 tries for a trainee to pass the training. Included among the challenges are one-on-one fighting, extreme obstacle courses, withstanding large amounts of smoke, storming a high-rise building, jumping over fire and smoke bombs, and various other feats of strength and agility. These tests are done with little to no safety precautions in place. And the torture isn't necessarily over once the training's done. Red Berets are known to mark holidays and other important occasions by jumping into freezing water, holding formation in freezing temperatures, and engaging in numerous other crazy activities like log throwing and placing concrete blocks on recruits' chests and breaking them with sledgehammers. 3. U.S. Marine Corps Scout Sniper School. To achieve the elite title of a U.S. Marine Corps sniper, recruits must do a lot more than prove that they're a skilled shot. Many candidates fail the training, and there are less than 300 active U.S. Marine Corps snipers at any given time. To even be considered for the program, a Marine must demonstrate superior intelligence and decision-making skills, near-perfect physical fitness, expert rifle skills, and a second-nature understanding of complex ballistics principles. The highly demanding 2-month course comes with both classroom and physical training, including daily practice on the firing range, where recruits learn to shoot targets as far as 3,000 feet away. In the words of instructor Sergeant Brandon Chu, Scout snipers are constantly tired, fatigued, dehydrated, probably cold, for sure wet, and always hungry. He also said that recruits who don't consistently perform well starting on day 1 of training won't pass the course. A Scout sniper must be ready for extremely uncomfortable and dangerous situations, such as lying outdoors in the same position for days or hours at a time while observing and/or hiding from the enemy. One major test entails stalking 3,281 feet down a grassy open range without being seen by instructors who are perched nearby with scopes. At the same time, the participant must also elude foot soldiers whose sole task is to find the sniper. A candidate can only fail this test a certain number of times before they wash out of the program. 2. The Road to Heaven. The Road to Heaven is the name for a Taiwanese military exercise that's anything but heavenly. In fact, most of those who travel down it end up needing first aid at some point. It's the final stage of an intensive 9-week amphibious training program for the Taiwanese Marine Corps. Designed to simulate a battle on a rocky or coral-covered coastline, the challenge involves crawling down a 164-foot path of jagged coral, wearing only shorts, while stopping 10 times along the way to perform a series of exercises. Candidates must pass the test in order to join the elite frogmen of Taiwan's Amphibious Reconnaissance and Patrol Unit. This make-or-break challenge starts by falling from standing to a plank position. Then participants crawl along the rocky path, traveling on the points of their elbows and knees, and wriggling along with their hands behind their backs. As if the challenge wasn't excruciating enough to begin with, salty waters poured into their open wounds along the way. The most agile candidates complete the course in 15 to 20 minutes. If an instructor is unhappy with a recruit's performance, they have the authority to send the individual back to the beginning and make them perform the entire thing all over again, from start to finish. Soldiers' families cheer them on from the sidelines, often crying as they watch their loved one bleed from their injuries while struggling over the sharp, uneven terrain. Aside from their supporters' encouragement, candidates must rely on sheer determination to make it to the finish line of this torturous test of strength and willpower. 1. The Masakuma. In order to become combat soldiers for the Israeli Defense Forces, recruits must complete an overnight trek in the desert called the Masakuma or Beret March, lasting anywhere from 20 to 57 miles long. It comes after 4 months of basic training and 4 to 12 months of advanced training. Before completing the Masakuma, recruits complete a preparation march called the Machin Masakuma. During the Masakuma, participants silently walk side by side in 2 single-file lines, traveling at a brisk pace of somewhere between 3.7 and 6.7 miles per hour. The trek includes walking up multiple steep inclines while donning full battle gear, including the soldier's weapon, vest, water packs, stretchers, and more. The rain or shine event often happens in extremely uncomfortable weather, including heavy downpours and scorching heat. After completing the march, the participants attend a ceremony where they receive their unit's distinctly colored beret, officially making them IDF soldiers. In addition to being a test of commitment, the Masakuma measures a soldier's readiness for battle. The philosophy behind the march is that combat can happen in locations and circumstances that require soldiers to travel long distances on foot. So, they need to be prepared for this and other possibilities that warrant a unit of physically fit, highly trained troops who also have what it takes mentally to endure extremely uncomfortable conditions. Thanks for watching. Do you think you could handle this style of training? Let us know in the comments and don't forget to subscribe. See you next time. Bye.